Your emotional states aren't just subjective experiences, they're energetic broadcasts that ripple outward, affecting both your internal chemistry and the world around you. Have you ever felt a strange sense of yearning, like there's something more to life than what meets the eye? As if beneath the surface of your everyday existence lies a deeper dimension of meaning waiting to be discovered? You're not alone. In the quiet moments between the chaos of modern living, millions feel this same pull towards something greater than themselves. Welcome to Spiritual Laws to Unlock Your Higher Self, an exploration of the divine principles that govern our universe and guide our spiritual evolution. In a world dominated by constant distraction and material focus, many of us feel a deeper calling, a recognition that we're more than just physical beings moving through life's motions. The ancient wisdom traditions across cultures have long understood what modern quantum physics is only beginning to confirm. Reality is not what it appears on the surface. Beyond the world of form exists a vast field of energy, consciousness, and potential, one that you can learn to navigate with remarkable precision once you understand the laws that govern it. This audiobook reveals the timeless spiritual laws that can transform your reality from the inside out. These aren't arbitrary rules imposed by some distant authority, they're the very fabric of existence, operating whether we're conscious of them or not. By understanding and applying these universal principles, you'll gain practical tools to manifest your desires, navigate life's challenges with grace, and experience profound inner peace that transcends circumstance. Over the next 45 minutes, you'll discover how to align with the divine flow of the universe, transcend self-imposed limitations, and unlock the extraordinary power that has always existed within you. Consider this your roadmap to spiritual awakening, a journey that begins right now, in this moment, as you open yourself to possibilities beyond the confines of ordinary awareness. Chapter 1. The Sacred Web of Connection. Imagine standing on a beach at dawn, watching the sun paint gold across the water. In that moment, do you sense something more, a connection beyond words? This feeling offers a glimpse into our first spiritual law, divine oneness. The law of divine oneness reveals that beneath our perception of separation lies an indivisible whole. Everything in the universe, every person, thought, action, and event exists within an interconnected web of consciousness. The boundaries we perceive between ourselves and others are ultimately illusions, compelling ones, but illusions nonetheless. Ancient wisdom traditions have recognized this truth for millennia. The Vedic concept of Advaita, or non-duality, the Buddhist understanding of interdependence, and a mystical Christian notion that we are all members of one body point to this same fundamental reality. Modern quantum physics echoes these insights through discoveries like quantum entanglement, where particles once connected remain instantaneously linked across vast distances. This principle isn't merely theoretical, it transforms how we live when fully embraced. When you recognize your fundamental connection to all beings, compassion arises naturally. The harm you cause others literally affects the larger system of which you're a part. Likewise, the good you contribute ripples outward in ways you might never witness directly. Your relationships transform when viewed through this lens. Conflicts with others reveal themselves as opportunities to heal internal divisions. The person who frustrates you becomes your teacher, reflecting aspects of yourself calling for integration. The pain you feel at others' suffering becomes a doorway to expanded awareness and action. To experience unity consciousness in daily life, begin with a simple practice. Throughout your day, pause to recognize yourself in others. When you encounter a stranger, silently acknowledge, this is another expression of the same consciousness I embody. When faced with someone challenging, remember, the divine that lives in me lives in them too. Spend time in nature to reinforce this understanding. Feel yourself as an inseparable part of the living earth, not a visitor, but a participant in its intricate dance. During meditation, visualize the boundaries of your body dissolving, your awareness expanding to embrace everything within your perception. The suffering we experience stems largely from the illusion of separation. We feel isolated, disconnected, and alone. Yet this sense of separation is like a dream from which we can awaken. As you practice recognizing the underlying unity, you'll notice fear diminishing, trust expanding, and an unshakable sense of belonging emerging. While divine oneness shows us the interconnected nature of all things, the law of vibration reveals how this connection manifests as energy throughout the cosmos. Chapter 2. Dancing with Universal Energy. Close your eyes for a moment and place your palm over your heart. Can you feel it? The rhythmic pulsing beneath your fingertips isn't just keeping you alive, it's your most immediate experience of the law of vibration. Every beat represents energy in motion, a fundamental quality of everything in existence. The law of vibration reveals that nothing in our universe is truly solid. At our most fundamental level, we exist as pure energy vibrating at specific frequencies. Modern physics confirms this ancient understanding. What appears as solid matter is mostly empty space filled with vibrating particles moving in precise patterns. This law teaches that everything, including our thoughts, emotions, and physical bodies, emits a unique vibrational signature that attracts matching energies and experiences into our lives. Your emotional states aren't just subjective experiences, they're energetic broadcasts that ripple outward, affecting both your internal chemistry and the world around you. Emotions like love, joy, and gratitude vibrate at higher frequencies than fear, resentment, and despair. These aren't merely poetic metaphors. Researchers at HeartMath Institute have measured measurable changes in heart rhythms corresponding with different emotional states, each creating distinct electromagnetic fields extending beyond the body. Most significantly, your personal vibration directly impacts your lived experience. Like tuning a radio to receive specific broadcasts, your energetic state determines which experiences, opportunities, and relationships you attract and perceive. When you operate at lower frequencies dominated by fear and scarcity, you become attuned to circumstances that match this vibration. Shift to higher frequencies of love and abundance, and different possibilities become accessible. To consciously elevate your energetic frequency, start by becoming aware of your current vibration. Throughout the day, periodically ask yourself, what energy am I embodying right now? Notice without judgment when you've slipped into lower vibrational states. This awareness itself begins the shifting process. Practice deliberate vibrational lifting through gratitude. Each morning, identify 5 things you genuinely appreciate, allowing yourself to feel the emotion fully rather than merely listing items. Incorporate movement practices that raise your energy. Dance, yoga, qigong, or simply walking in nature while consciously absorbing the life force around you. Sound represents another powerful tool for vibrational alignment. Certain music, chanting, or even humming specific tones can reorganize your energy field. Experiment with sounds that resonate with you, perhaps Tibetan singing bowls, classical compositions, or specific frequency tracks designed for meditation. When negative vibrations manifest as life challenges, recognize them as feedback rather than punishment. These experiences reveal areas where your energy may be stagnant or blocked. Instead of resisting these signals, thank them for the information and ask, what shift is this challenge inviting me to make? Maintaining elevated vibrations requires environmental awareness. Notice how different people, places, and activities affect your energy. Without judgment or blame, limit exposure to lower vibrational influences when possible, and intentionally surround yourself with people and experiences that elevate you. As we learn to master our vibrational state, we begin to see the profound truth of the law of correspondence, how our inner world creates our outer reality. Chapter 3. As within, so without. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to encounter the same situations repeatedly in different settings with different people? A woman who consistently attracts controlling partners, a man who repeatedly faces financial crises despite changing careers, or someone who finds conflict in every workplace. These patterns reveal the law of correspondence in action. This profound principle tells us that patterns repeat throughout the universe, and our external reality mirrors our internal state. The ancient Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, as within, so without, captures this universal truth that our outer world reflects our inner consciousness. Like a projector casting images onto a screen, your innermost beliefs, fears, expectations, and unresolved wounds inevitably materialize in your life circumstances. The correspondence between inner and outer reality operates through multiple dimensions. On the physical level, your thoughts affect your body's biochemistry, influencing everything from immune function to cellular repair. Mentally, your beliefs create perceptual filters that determine which aspects of reality you notice and how you interpret them. Emotionally, your inner climate creates resonance with similar external conditions. This law isn't about blame or shame, it's about empowerment. When you recognize that external circumstances reflect internal conditions, you gain the ability to transform your reality by addressing its source. The person who consistently encounters betrayal may discover unacknowledged ways they betrayed themselves by ignoring their values or intuition. Financial struggles might reflect deeper beliefs about unworthiness or scarcity formed in childhood. To recognize how your external circumstances reflect your internal state, develop self-awareness through regular reflection. Each evening, review your day's experiences and ask, what patterns appear today? What might these situations reveal about my inner landscape? Journal about recurring challenges in your life and explore their potential connection to your beliefs, fears, or unresolved emotions. Use life challenges as mirrors for inner healing opportunities. When facing difficulty, ask, if this situation represents something within me, what might it be showing me? Rather than immediately trying to change external conditions, first examine what internal shift might be required. This doesn't mean ignoring practical action. It means addressing both the outer situation and its inner correspondent. Transform your reality by shifting your inner landscape through visualization and embodiment practices. Spend time daily imagining yourself already experiencing your desired state, not just seeing it, but feeling the emotions it would generate. Your nervous system responds to vivid imagery almost as strongly as to actual experience, creating new neural pathways that support your transformation. Create harmony between inner and outer worlds through environmental alignment. Arrange your physical spaces to reflect qualities you wish to cultivate internally. Clear clutter to promote mental clarity. Incorporate elements of beauty to nurture appreciation, or create dedicated spaces for practices that support your spiritual growth. Work with the symbolism in your surroundings. Notice recurring themes or objects that appear in your life, and consider their potential messages. A persistent mechanical breakdown might reflect a need to slow down and perform internal maintenance. Repeatedly encountering certain numbers, animals, or situations may offer guidance about your path. Once we understand how our inner world shapes our reality, we naturally discover the power of the law of attraction. Chapter 4. Manifesting your divine birthright. Your thoughts become things. This simple statement captures the essence of perhaps the most widely discussed spiritual principle, the law of attraction. But beyond popular oversimplifications lies a profound truth. Consciousness is creative. The universe responds not just to your conscious thoughts, but to the entire vibrational pattern you emit through your beliefs, emotions, expectations, and attention. Like attracts like, what you consistently focus on with emotional intensity, whether positive or negative, will manifest in your physical reality through the magnetic power of your consciousness. This isn't a magical process, but a fundamental property of consciousness itself. Just as a tuning fork causes another tuning fork of the same frequency to vibrate when brought near it, Your dominant vibrations draw resonant experiences toward you. The creative power of consciousness appears throughout wisdom traditions. Jesus taught, "According to your faith be it unto you." Buddha observed, "All that we are arises with our thoughts." Modern quantum physics suggests that consciousness itself influences the behavior of matter at the subatomic level. The observer effect demonstrates that the mere act of observation changes the pattern of particles, a scientific validation of consciousness's creative capacity. Moving beyond wishful thinking to vibrationally aligned manifestation requires understanding that attraction operates based on your overall energetic signature, not just your conscious desires. This explains why simply making vision boards or reciting affirmations often fails to produce lasting results. These techniques address only the surface level of consciousness, while deeper contradictory patterns remain active. Belief plays a crucial role in this process. Your conscious mind may desire wealth, but if your subconscious associates money with corruption or believes you don't deserve abundance, these deeper patterns will override your conscious intentions. True manifestation requires bringing all levels of your consciousness into alignment with your desires. To clear subconscious blocks to abundance, first identify limiting beliefs by completing sentences like, "Money is," "People with wealth are," or "If I become successful." Notice where negative or limiting beliefs emerge. Then question these beliefs. Is this absolutely true? Where did I learn this? How would I feel and act if I didn't believe this? Replace identified limitations with empowering alternatives that feel authentic, not just positive-sounding platitudes. Develop emotional congruence with your desires. Manifestation happens most powerfully when you can genuinely feel the emotion of already having what you seek. Practice gratitude for what's coming as if it's already arrived. This isn't about denying reality, but about creating an energetic match for your desired experience. Create a manifestation practice that honors your authentic self rather than mimicking others' approaches. Experiment with different methods: visualization, journaling, vision boards, affirmations, or movement practices, and notice which generate the strongest sense of alignment and possibility for you personally. The most effective technique is the one that genuinely shifts your vibration. Remember that manifestation isn't about controlling outcomes, but about co-creating with universal intelligence. Detach from specific forms while staying connected to the essence of what you seek. Often, the universe delivers our desires in unexpected packages that serve our highest good better than our limited imagination could have conceived. The law of attraction reveals what's possible, but to bring our desires into reality, we must embrace the law of inspired action. Chapter 5: Divine Movement Through Intuition. A young entrepreneur sits meditating at dawn when suddenly an idea arrives, not through logical reasoning, but as a complete insight that feels both surprising and inevitable. Acting on this intuitive guidance, she creates a business that not only succeeds financially, but fulfills her deeper purpose. This scenario illustrates the law of inspired action at work, the principle that true manifestation requires movement guided by inner wisdom rather than strategic planning alone. The law of inspired action teaches that bringing our desires into reality requires more than positive thinking. It demands action aligned with divine intelligence. When we follow internal nudges, synchronicities, and intuitive prompts, we participate in the universe's natural flow and allow higher wisdom to guide our path. This differs fundamentally from forced action based solely on logical planning or external expectations. Distinguishing between forced action and inspired movement requires developing discernment. Forced action typically stems from fear, obligation, or the need to control outcomes. It feels heavy, draining, and often involves pushing against resistance. Inspired action, by contrast, carries an unmistakable quality of rightness. It may challenge you, but it energizes rather than depletes. Even when facing obstacles, inspired action maintains an underlying sense of flow. Your intuition serves as your spiritual compass in navigating this distinction. This inner guidance system communicates through multiple channels: physical sensations, emotional responses, mental insights, and spiritual knowing. Some people experience intuition primarily as bodily sensations, gut feelings, heart expansions, or energy shifts. Others receive clear mental images, meaningful symbols, or direct knowing that arrives without logical steps. To develop your intuitive capacity, create regular periods of stillness. In our constantly stimulated world, intuitive signals often get drowned out by louder mental noise. Daily meditation, even for just 10 minutes, creates space for subtler perceptions to emerge. During these quiet times, pose specific questions to your inner wisdom, then listen without forcing answers. Practice intuitive decision-making with small choices before tackling major life decisions. When considering options, notice which choice creates expansion in your body and which creates contraction. Expansion, a sense of openness, lightness, or energy flow, often signals alignment with your higher path. Contraction, tightness, heaviness, or energetic closing frequently indicates misalignment, even when logic suggests otherwise. Creating space for divine guidance requires developing comfort with uncertainty. The intuitive path rarely reveals the entire journey at once. Instead, it illuminates the next step, requiring trust to proceed without seeing the complete route. This stepped revelation prevents the ego from hijacking the process with its need for control and certainty. Overcoming fear and resistance when taking inspired steps often requires distinguishing between intuitive caution and fear-based hesitation. Intuitive caution feels clear and specific, warning about particular aspects of situation while maintaining overall peace. Fear-based resistance generates vague, generalized anxiety and worst-case scenarios. When encountering resistance, ask, is this fear protecting me or limiting me? Document synchronicities and intuitive hits to build trust in your inner guidance. Keep a journal of intuitive impressions and note when they prove accurate. Record meaningful coincidences, unexpected opportunities, and fortuitous meetings that advance your path. This record strengthens your recognition of divine guidance at work in your life. As we take inspired action, we participate in the constant flow of universal energy. Our willingness to move with divine guidance activates the law of perpetual transmutation, showing how energy continually transforms throughout creation. Chapter 6: The Alchemy of Consciousness. Imagine watching a caterpillar transform into a butterfly, cells reorganizing, structures dissolving and reforming. This miraculous metamorphosis isn't just a biological wonder, but a perfect illustration of our next spiritual principle, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Throughout the cosmos, energy is never static. It exists in a constant state of movement and transformation. Ancient alchemists understood this when they sought to transform lead into gold. While their literal attempts may have fallen short, they grasped a profound metaphysical truth. Higher frequencies naturally transmute lower ones. Just as the sun melts ice without effort, simply by being what it is, your higher consciousness can transform denser energies through presence alone. This dynamic principle reveals that no energetic state is permanent. Your thoughts, emotions, relationships, and circumstances exist as patterns of energy that can be transformed through conscious intervention. The depression that feels insurmountable today contains within it the potential for profound joy. The conflict that seems irresolvable carries the seeds of deeper understanding and connection. Consider how water exists as solid, liquid, or gas depending on the energy applied. Your consciousness functions similarly, capable of shifting from contracted states of fear and limitation to expanded awareness, love, and possibility through the application of higher frequency energy. This isn't merely theoretical. Brainwave studies demonstrate measurable shifts in neural activity during conscious transmutation practices like meditation, resulting in reduced stress hormones and increased coherence throughout the body. The fluid nature of thoughts provides a practical entry point for working with this law. Your thoughts aren't solid things, but electromagnetic impulses that can be redirected. When you notice a negative thought pattern arising, recognize it as energy in motion rather than absolute truth. By introducing higher frequency thoughts of compassion, gratitude, or possibility, you supply the alchemical element needed for transformation. To transmute negative patterns into positive outcomes, practice the alchemical process of observation without identification. When faced with challenging emotions or situations, create a slight inner distance by asking, "What's moving through me right now?" Rather than saying, "I am angry," notice anger is moving through my awareness. This subtle shift prevents you from becoming entangled in lower vibrations while creating space for transformation. Focusez d'intention accélérate énergétique transmutation. When working with difficult emotions, place your attention on the physical sensations these emotions create in your body. Breathe into these areas while visualizing light or healing energy flowing there. Without forcing the feeling to change, simply hold it in compassionate awareness. This presence often naturally shifts the energy without effort, like ice melting in sunlight. For persistent emotional patterns, try the transmutation breath technique. Inhale fully, imagining you're drawing the challenging emotion up from your body into your heart. Hold briefly at the top of the inhalation, visualizing your heart as an alchemical chamber transforming this energy. Exhale slowly, releasing the transmuted energy as light, peace, or whatever quality feels most healing. Continue for several minutes, noting how the energy shifts. Your physical environment also responds to transmutation practices. Spaces hold energetic imprints from emotions, thoughts, and events that have occurred within them. To clear stagnant or negative energy from your home or workspace, use sound vibration ring bells, place singing bowls, or clap in corners where energy feels stuck. Alternatively, burn purifying herbs like sage or Palo Santo while setting clear intentions for the space to be filled with light and positive energy. Water serves as another powerful transmutation tool. Japanese researcher Dr. Masaru Emoto demonstrated how water molecules form different crystalline structures when exposed to different thoughts or emotions. Use this principle by charging a glass of water with positive intention before drinking it. Place your hands around the glass, infuse it with gratitude or healing energy, then consume it mindfully, imagining this encoded water transforming your internal landscape. Every time you consciously transmute lower energies into higher ones, you strengthen your spiritual muscles and contribute to collective elevation. Each transformed thought creates ripples through the unified field of consciousness, affecting the whole in ways you may never directly witness. Our power to transmute energy comes with responsibility, which brings us to the timeless law of karma, the principle governing the balance of energy throughout the universe. Chapter 7: The Sacred Balance of Universal Justice. A woman spent years harboring resentment toward her father for his emotional absence during her childhood. Though she'd achieved outward success, she found herself repeatedly attracting emotionally unavailable partners. Through spiritual work, she realized her unresolved father wounds were creating a karmic pattern. As she practiced forgiveness and healed her relationship with her father, her romantic relationships transformed as well. This story illustrates the law of karma not as punishment for past wrongs, but as energetic patterns seeking resolution. The law of karma reveals that every action generates a force of energy that returns to us in like kind. Often misunderstood as cosmic punishment or reward, karma represents the universe's inherent system of balance and growth. Like a perfectly calibrated scale, this principle ensures that energy sent out must complete its circuit by returning to its source, though not always in ways we might expect or within time frames we can predict. Eastern traditions have understood karma for millennia. The Sanskrit word karma literally means action, encompassing not just physical deeds but the intentions, thoughts, and emotions behind them. The Buddha taught that our current circumstances reflect past choices, while present actions shape future experiences. This isn't fatalistic determinism, but an invitation to conscious participation in creating our reality. Karma operates beyond simplistic notions of good and bad. What appears as suffering might catalyze essential growth, while seeming rewards might foster stagnation. The universe responds not to moral judgments, but to the quality and intention of energy we generate. Suppressed rage damages us regardless of how justified it feels. Compassion benefits us even when others seem undeserving. Consider how karma manifests in everyday experiences. The colleague who habitually criticizes others soon finds himself isolated as people avoid his negativity. The person who consistently offers kindness naturally attracts supportive relationships. These aren't coincidences, but demonstrations of energetic principles. At work, we reap what we sow because we remain energetically connected to everything we create. Karmic patterns often appear across multiple areas of life simultaneously. Financial struggles might reflect blocked giving in relationships. Health issues might mirror barriers to emotional expression. By recognizing these patterns, you gain insights into the underlying energetic imbalances seeking resolution. The challenges you face today aren't random misfortunes, but specific learning opportunities tailored to your soul's evolution. Transforming negative karmic patterns begins with awareness. Notice recurring themes in your life relationship dynamics, financial situations, health challenges, and ask what lessons they might contain. Rather than labeling these patterns as problems to eliminate, approach them as messengers bearing important information about your soul's journey. Once identified, negative patterns transform through conscious choice rather than resistance. If you repeatedly encounter situations where others take advantage of your generosity, the karmic lesson might involve establishing healthy boundaries rather than becoming less giving. The pattern persists until the lesson integrates, not as punishment, but as a continuing opportunity for growth. Creating positive karmic momentum involves intentional living, making choices aligned with your highest values regardless of immediate outcomes. When you act from integrity, compassion, and authenticity, you generate positive energy that eventually returns multiplied. This doesn't mean you'll never face challenges, but these challenges will increasingly serve your expansion rather than repeat old patterns. Start building positive karma through small daily actions. Before sleep each night, reflect on how your actions affected others. Did you spread positivity or negativity? Did you honor your commitments? Did you speak truthfully and kindly? This nightly review builds awareness of your energetic contributions and identifies areas for growth. Forgiveness practices powerfully liberate you from karmic cycles. Unforgiveness binds you energetically to people and situations that may otherwise have completed their role in your life. To practice genuine forgiveness, acknowledge the full impact of what happened without minimizing it. Feel the associated emotions completely. Then consciously choose to release the energetic charge, not for the other person's benefit, but for your freedom. For deeper karmic healing, try this visualization. Picture yourself standing before those you've harmed and those who've harmed you. Express what needs to be said, hear what needs to be heard, and visualize cords of energy between you dissolving as you mutually release each other. Complete the practice by seeing everyone, including yourself, surrounded in healing light. Remember that karma isn't about scorekeeping, but about soul evolution. Each challenging pattern presents an opportunity to heal, grow, and expand your consciousness. When you approach life's difficulties with this understanding, they transform from burdens into stepping stones on your spiritual path. While karma governs the balance of our actions, the law of free will empowers us to choose our path amid these karmic patterns. Chapter 8. The Divine Gift of Choice. On September 12, 1962, President Kennedy declared America would put a man on the moon not because it was easy, but because it was hard. This audacious choice, made despite seemingly insurmountable obstacles, exemplifies our next spiritual principle, the law of free will. Against all odds, human consciousness chose a seemingly impossible future and, through that choice, transformed it into reality. The law of free will stands as perhaps our most profound spiritual endowment, the ability to choose our response regardless of circumstances. Viktor Frankl, imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps, discovered that even when everything else was taken away, one freedom remained inviolable: the freedom to determine one's attitude towards suffering. This insight isn't just philosophically profound. It represents a fundamental spiritual law that operates throughout your existence. This empowering principle reminds us that while we cannot control external circumstances, we always retain sovereignty over our internal response. Each day presents countless choice points, moments where you decide what thoughts to believe, what emotions to cultivate, what actions to take, and what meaning to assign to your experiences. These choices, more than any external force, determine the quality and direction of your life. Free will exists in dynamic relationship with other spiritual laws. Your choices operate within karmic patterns and universal principles, not eliminating them, but determining how you navigate them. Like a sailor who cannot control the wind but can adjust the sails, you work with these forces rather than against them. The wind remains, but your chosen response determines whether it propels you forward or capsizes your vessel. Personal responsibility forms the foundation of spiritual empowerment. When you recognize yourself as the primary creative force in your life, victimhood dissolves. This doesn't deny genuine hardship or systemic challenges, but shifts your relationship to them. Rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I create from this circumstance?" This simple reframing activates your creative power rather than reinforcing helplessness. Exercising conscious choice in challenging situations requires developing inner space, a gap between stimulus and response. When triggered, most people react automatically from conditioning rather than responding from centered awareness. Through practices like meditation and mindful breathing, you can expand this gap, allowing more considered choices aligned with your higher values rather than instant reactions driven by fear or habit. Try this practice when facing difficulties. Take 3 conscious breaths before responding. During these breaths, ask yourself, what outcome do I truly desire? What response would reflect my highest self? This brief pause interrupts automatic patterns and creates space for wisdom to emerge. With practice, even intense triggers become opportunities for conscious choice rather than compelling reactivity. Understanding the relationship between free will and divine guidance resolves an apparent paradox. Many wonder, if I have free will, how do I follow divine guidance? And if I follow guidance, where is my free will? The answer lies in recognizing that free will includes the freedom to choose alignment with higher wisdom. You freely decide whether to listen to intuition or ego, whether to flow with divine timing or force your own agenda. This choice itself represents the exercise of your spiritual sovereignty. Higher consciousness decision-making integrates multiple ways of knowing. Western culture primarily values analytical thinking, yet intuition, emotional intelligence, and bodily wisdom provide equally important information. When making significant choices, check all 4 channels. Does this make logical sense? Does it feel intuitively right? Does it resonate emotionally? Does my body respond with expansion or contraction? Alignment across these dimensions often indicates choices resonant with your highest path. Strengthen your decision-making by regularly practicing discernment with smaller choices. Throughout your day, pause before routine decisions: what to eat, how to respond to a message, which task to tackle next, and consciously choose based on what serves your highest good rather than momentary comfort or habit. This builds your choice muscle, making alignment more natural when facing major decisions. Remember that free will operates within community. Your choices affect others just as theirs affect you. This interconnection doesn't diminish your sovereignty, but places it in context. The highest expression of free will isn't self-serving indulgence, but but conscious choice that considers the well-being of the greater whole. When your choices align with universal good, they generate harmony rather than karmic backlash. As you embrace your free will, you discover the infinite potential that lies within through the law of pure potentiality. Chapter 9. The Infinite Field of All Possibilities. Close your eyes for a moment and consider the acorn. Within its tiny shell lies not just a potential tree, but forests stretching across generations, billions of leaves, countless branches, and endless seeds, each containing the same vast potential. This humble seed illustrates our next spiritual principle, the law of pure potentiality. This expansive principle reveals that your essential nature is pure consciousness, the same creative force that manifests the universe. Beyond your personality, beyond your history, beyond your current circumstances exists a field of pure potential that contains all possibilities. This isn't abstract philosophy, but the fundamental reality described by quantum physics, where particles exist as probability waves until observed, containing all potential states simultaneously. Ancient wisdom traditions have recognized this truth for millennia. The Upanishads describe Brahman pure consciousness that is both unmanifest potential and the source of all manifestation. Buddhist teachings on emptiness point to this same boundless potential underlying all form. These traditions understood what science now confirms. The material world emerges from a field of infinite possibilities. By accessing this field of pure potentiality, you reconnect with your unlimited capacity to create and transform your reality. Most people live confined within the narrow bandwidth of what they believe possible, making choices from past conditioning rather than present potential. When you recognize yourself as pure consciousness temporarily expressed in human form, these self-imposed limitations dissolve, revealing possibilities previously invisible to you. Meditation offers the most direct path to experiencing pure potentiality. Through regular practice, you learn to quiet the constant chatter of your conditioned mind and access deeper states of awareness. Begin with a simple practice. Sit comfortably for 15 minutes daily, focusing on your breath while mentally repeating, "I am not my thoughts." When thoughts arise, observe them without attachment before gently returning to your breath. Over time, you'll experience gaps between thoughts' windows into the field of pure potential. Nature immersion similarly connects you with pure potentiality. In natural settings, especially near water or among trees, the mind naturally quiets and awareness expands. Spend time regularly in natural environments without technological distractions. Allow your senses to fully open to your surroundings while silently affirming, "I am part of this living intelligence. The same creative force expressing through nature expresses through me." Releasing attachment to outcomes while maintaining clear intention creates space for possibilities beyond your imagining. Most manifesting efforts fail because we become fixated on specific forms rather than the essence of what we seek. Practice setting intentions focused on qualities rather than objects, not a specific job, but meaningful work that utilizes my gifts, not a particular relationship, but loving connection that supports mutual growth. Moving beyond self-imposed limitations requires recognizing their origins. Many of your perceived limits originated in childhood when you internalized others' beliefs about what's possible or appropriate. Identify these adopted limitations by completing the sentence. I can't understand because understand multiple times. For each limitation, ask, is this actually true? Who would I be without this belief? What becomes possible when I release it? Others' expectations often function as invisible barriers to accessing your pure potential. We unconsciously conform to what family, culture, or society deems appropriate, narrowing our expression to gain approval. Inventory the expectations you've been trying to meet. Who am I trying to please? What parts of myself am I hiding to fit in? What dreams have I abandoned to meet others' standards? This awareness itself begins dissolving these constraints. Connecting with your unique divine purpose emerges naturally through regular communion with the field of pure potentiality. Rather than analyzing or planning your purpose, allow it to reveal itself through inner listening. In meditation, ask, how does the universe want to express through me? Then listen without forcing an answer. True purpose reveals itself through joy, energy, and natural inclination rather than mental calculation. Journal regularly about new possibilities you sense emerging. After meditation or time in nature, write without censoring about what feels newly possible or inspiring. Don't evaluate these insights immediately. Some seeds need time to germinate before their full potential becomes clear. Review these writings periodically to notice themes and directions emerging from your deeper wisdom. Remember that accessing pure potentiality isn't about escaping your humanity, but fully embodying it. Your physical form, emotions, and unique personality aren't obstacles to spiritual realization, but vehicles for expressing it distinctively. The goal isn't transcending your humanness, but allowing the infinite to express through your finite form like light, refracting through a prism into particular colors. As we tap into our pure potential, we naturally discover the joy of the law of giving and receiving. Chapter 10. The Sacred Circle of Abundance. Watch a forest for a season and you'll witness a perfect economic system. Fallen leaves decompose, nourishing soil that feeds trees, which then produce oxygen, shade, and more leaves. Nothing hoards, nothing wastes. Everything participates in a continuous circulation of energy and resources. This natural abundance cycle illustrates our final spiritual principle, the law of giving and receiving. This beautiful principle reveals that the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Nothing in nature clutches or clings air, moves freely between lungs. Water cycles from ocean to cloud to rain to river and back again. Plants exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide in perfect reciprocity with animals. This flowing exchange isn't just material, but extends to energy, information, and consciousness itself. To sustain the flow of abundance in our lives, we must participate in this circulation by giving what we seek to receive. This isn't transactional giving specifically to get, but recognition of how energy naturally operates. When you block the outflow through hoarding, fear, or excessive attachment, you simultaneously block the inflow. The dam that prevents a river from flowing out also prevents it from receiving new water upstream. Understanding giving and receiving as a single process transforms your relationship with abundance. Most scarcity thinking stems from perceiving these as separate actions rather than one continuous movement, like seeing inhalation and exhalation as unrelated rather than different phases of breathing. When you give freely, you create space to receive. When you receive graciously, you honor the giver's need to participate in the flow. Nature demonstrates this unified process constantly. The tree doesn't hesitate to drop its fruits, knowing more will grow. The lungs don't cling to air, trusting the next breath will come. This natural confidence in the circulation of resources creates the very conditions that ensure ongoing abundance. Fear interrupts this flow, trust sustains it. Practice conscious circulation by asking each morning, what can I give today? Focus not just on material gifts, but on attention, appreciation, encouragement, or understanding. Look for opportunities to give what others most need. Sometimes a sincere compliment creates more value than an expensive gift. Notice any resistance to giving and explore its roots, often in early experiences of deprivation or loss. Overcoming scarcity mindset requires recognizing its physiological signature: contracted breathing, tight chest, closed posture. When you notice these sensations arising around resources, consciously relax your body, deepen your breathing, and remind yourself, the universe operates through abundance, not scarcity. By participating in the flow, I sustain it. This physical reset interrupts the fear response that perpetuates limitation. Create specific practices that reinforce abundance consciousness. Designate a giving fund, even a few dollars set aside, specifically for unexpected generosity. When an opportunity arises to help someone, you'll have resources already mentally allocated for giving rather than feeling conflicted about your own needs. This pre-commitment bypasses scarcity reactions and allows spontaneous generosity. Gratitude serves as the magnetic force that attracts continued abundance. Each expression of genuine appreciation completes the cycle of exchange and signals readiness for more. Develop a daily gratitude ritual, perhaps listing 5 specific blessings each night or verbally expressing thanks for small pleasures throughout your day. Focus particularly on appreciating the continuous support you receive from seen and unseen sources: air to breathe, sun that warms, people who serve. Receiving constitutes an equally important part of the abundance cycle. Many people give freely but struggle to accept help, compliments, or resources from others. This reluctance often stems from beliefs about self-sufficiency or unworthiness. Practice gracious receiving by simply saying thank you when offered help or appreciation, resisting the urge to deflect or immediately reciprocate. Recognize that allowing others to give serves their spiritual need to participate in the flow. Create giving rituals that nourish both recipient and giver. Perhaps a monthly donation to causes aligned with your values, regular volunteer time, sharing your skills, or simply committed attention to loved ones without distraction. The form matters less than the spirit. Giving from genuine care rather than obligation creates entirely different energetic effects. Consider creating an abundance altar in your home, a dedicated space with symbols of prosperity and items representing what you wish to attract and share. This serves as a physical reminder of your commitment to participate in the universal flow. Regularly place small offerings here: fresh flowers, coins, or written expressions of gratitude, while visualizing yourself as a channel through which abundance flows to and through you. Remember that giving operates according to quality more than quantity. A small gift offered with genuine love carries more transformative power than large donations given from obligation or for recognition. Focus on the consciousness behind your giving rather than the material value, trusting that sincerity magnifies impact beyond visible measure. As our exploration of these 10 spiritual laws comes to completion, recognize that they aren't separate principles but interconnected aspects of universal truth. Like facets of a single diamond, each law reveals a different perspective on the same underlying reality. The law of divine oneness shows our fundamental connection. The law of vibration reveals how this connection operates energetically. Correspondence demonstrates how inner and outer realities mirror each other. Attraction illustrates consciousness's creative power. Inspired action guides our manifestation. Perpetual transmutation shows how energy constantly transforms. Karma balances our actions. Free will empowers our choices. Pure potentiality reveals our infinite nature. And giving and receiving completes the circle of abundance. By aligning with these divine laws, you've taken a powerful step toward awakening your higher self and reclaiming your spiritual sovereignty. These principles don't require belief to operate. They function regardless of our awareness, just as gravity works whether or not we understand it. But conscious alignment with them transforms them from unconscious influences to powerful tools for intentional creation. Begin your integration by focusing on one law that resonates most strongly with you right now. Perhaps you feel drawn to the transmutation of energy, the power of free will, or the balance of giving and receiving. Whatever captures your attention likely contains the next growth opportunity for your soul. Practice its principles daily for at least 21 days, observing how your reality shifts in response. Keep a journal of your experiences, noting synchronicities, insights, and changes that emerge. Trust that these universal laws are always operating, whether we're conscious of them or not. Your thoughts create vibrations regardless of whether you monitor them. Your inner state manifests outwardly, whether you recognize the correspondence or not. Energy continually transforms with or without your conscious participation. By bringing awareness to these processes, you become an active co-creator rather than a passive recipient of their effects. Your journey to spiritual mastery is ongoing, a beautiful unfolding of your divine potential across a lifetime. Don't expect immediate perfection in applying these principles. Like learning any new skill, mastery comes through practice, patience, and compassion for yourself when you temporarily forget. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to realign with these timeless truths and to express more of your authentic self in the world. Remember that awakening your higher self isn't about escaping earthly experience, but about bringing heaven to earth, embodying divine awareness in everyday choices. These laws provide practical guidance for navigating relationships, work, health, and every other aspect of human experience with greater consciousness and grace. As you continue integrating these principles, you join countless seekers throughout history who have discovered the same universal truths under different names and forms. Though terminology and practices vary across traditions, the underlying laws remain constant, recognized by mystics, sages, and seekers in every culture and era. You're not alone on this path, but part of humanity's collective spiritual evolution. Thank you for joining us on this journey of spiritual discovery. The principles we've explored together aren't just concepts to understand intellectually, but living truths to embody through daily practice. Each law you align with awakens more of your divine potential and contributes to the elevation of collective consciousness. If you found value in this audiobook, please support Audiobook's library by subscribing to our YouTube channel and enabling notifications for future releases. Your engagement helps us continue providing these spiritual resources to seekers worldwide. The written format offers additional exercises and references to deepen your understanding and application of these principles. Until next time, may you walk in harmony with the divine laws that guide our universe. Remember that you are not separate from the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. You are an essential expression of it. As you align with these universal principles, you fulfill your highest purpose, to embody divine consciousness in human form.